Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today for media availability. We're going to hear from the mayor. She's going to sign our 2021 budget, and then we'll take brief Q&A. And with that, I'll hand it right over to Mayor Jenny Durkan.
Thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you everyone for being here. I hope people were able to enjoy some of the Thanksgiving weekend. Even though we couldn't come together as usual, I hope people were able to be thankful for all that we do have to be thankful for in this very, very challenging year. There is no denying that this year's budget process was unprecedented on several fronts. We had to go through two budget cycles in 2020, not just one. First at the mid-year and then for next year's budget, because our revenues had dropped so significantly. Even among the significant barriers, the City Council and I were able to craft a budget that makes truly historic investments in Seattle communities, lays the groundwork for an equitable recovery, and reflects our values of the City of Seattle. Thanks to this collaborative work and an updated revenue forecast that we received after I transmitted my budget, our 2021 budget will allow Seattle to be in a much better place than other cities across America when we finally can come out of COVID. In September, I outlined 4 key priorities for the city's 2021 budget: continuing to invest in our response for COVID-19 pandemic, making the city's largest ever investment in racial equity and justice, addressing our homelessness and housing crisis, and advancing public safety while transforming policing. I'm grateful that this budget reflects those priorities and carried through this entire budget process, as they are critical for our work going forward. We must come out of COVID better, stronger, and more equitable city. And in order to do that, and in order to navigate the really significant challenges we still have ahead, we needed to have a budget that reflected those values. This budget addresses the community needs regarding COVID-19. Our residents, our workers, and our businesses continue to reel from this pandemic. It has had such marked impacts on so many people. So many have lost their jobs, their businesses, their life savings. Others have been challenged with health issues related to COVID-19, or ones they love have got COVID-19. This budget provides important resources for addressing COVID-19 response programs, including we will expand our testing. So far, the city has conducted 425,000 free COVID tests. Let me say that again. We have conducted over 425,000 free COVID tests, a program we stood up because we lacked the federal leadership we needed, and that we knew the City of Seattle would need that testing to address this crisis. Grocery vouchers. We have helped over 14,000 families and households through this crisis by giving them direct grocery vouchers. The stories are heartbreaking, but at the same time uplifting that we're able to give tangible help to people when they need it. And our small business grants, we've helped over 450 small businesses weather the storm. It's not nearly enough, and I will continue to push the state and federal governments to do their share for the businesses and workers who have suffered so much through this pandemic. Ultimately, we know the city cannot meet this alone. We need the help of our state partners, but particularly our federal partners. We need them to pass the COVID-19 relief bill. This budget also does great investments in our Black, Indigenous, and other communities of color. And for the first time in Seattle's history, we will invest nearly $100 million directly in communities of color. And those communities will direct and advise us on where those investments will have the greatest impact and are most needed. These investments will be centered on the communities and help us come out of this COVID crisis a more just and equitable city. I believe we need to make that level of investment for a period of years to make up for the generational lack of resources in communities. We know that to become stronger, a more just city, we want to be on the other side of this pandemic, knowing we did all we could to invest in communities and in programs that would make us better. Services like education, access to housing, healthcare, and community wealth building. All of these are critical to a truly safe community, a vibrant community, and a community that can be resilient over the years. Homelessness, we have made our most significant investments ever in the city's history. And this year, we will be moving to a new regional approach to addressing homelessness. In alignment with what I proposed in September, we make the largest single-year investment ever in homeless services. This has been a really difficult year. We have been making significant progress on how we dealt with our issue related to homelessness and centering the voices of people experiencing homelessness. We provided more housing than ever before, had moved more people from our shelter system from ever before, and at one point had actually decreased in our one-night count. But COVID has changed the landscape dramatically, and we know to address this issue, we needed to make scaled investments. I want to thank the collaborative effort of the City Council on addressing this budget for next year and for creating 425 new shelter spaces and maintaining the over 2,300 existing spaces. It also represents, this budget, a compromise between the executive branch and council on how we do outreach to individuals living unsheltered. These are aligned with what we've been doing before and what we agreed to do this summer in a proposed compromise related to the 2020 budget. We've always done extensive outreach in encampments that needed to be relocated. We will continue to do that, but we will have more resources and we will coordinate the contracted services of outreach providers to conduct outreach to the people experiencing and living in encampments, to have them access shelter and other services. The council also adopted a $3 million for my Clean Cities initiative. Coming out of COVID, we've all been out more in the last few months, and we've seen what this has done to our city. And we will do more to make sure that we can clean up garbage, restore parks, and make our city ready to come out of COVID. Last several months, we know that our open spaces in our parks and our neighborhoods have suffered, and we need to take steps as a city to change that. Finally, this budget lays the groundwork to make systemic and lasting changes to policing. This policing future must preserve enough police with new officers carefully recruited to reflect the values of our city, and all officers who are well trained and grounded in the values of true constitutional and community policing. But police themselves will tell you there are many situations and many calls where an armed response is not the best or the right response. This summer and fall, I proposed thoughtful reductions to the Seattle Police Department that coincide and increased the continued investments in alternatives to sworn police responses, including expanding Health One and continuing to invest in mental health professionals and community service officers. These reductions were done with a thoughtful evaluation and recommendations by former Chief Best and current Chief Adrian Diaz. We proposed a 12% reduction in SPD's budget, both by reducing some officer positions that the chief believed we could not fill this coming year, and by transferring out functions like the 911 call center and parking enforcement that did not need to be housed in a police department. I was glad to see Council's approach to the SPD budget largely reflected the same approach. I believe that if we'd taken this approach over the summer, we would have had a very different summer budget season. But this summer was unprecedented in many ways, and I'm thankful we were able to work through these issues for the 2021 budget. While I don't agree with every change the council makes, that is exactly what our system of democracy and government contemplates. Budgets by themselves reflect a compromise and reflected values of both the executive and the legislative branch. Seattle will continue to lead the way on building a true community police safety response that has both the needed police and builds other ways to respond to events, particularly crisis calls. This work is a natural extension of work that has been done over the last 10 years in Seattle. Police department has crisis intervention training, the hiring of CSOs, and the addition of social workers and mental health providers in police precincts. We know more needs to be done for people who are in crisis, and having an armed police response is not always the best response or the right response. Last year alone, we responded to almost 17,000 crisis calls in the Seattle Police Department. We need to have more ways to respond to those types of calls. In Seattle, especially compared to other major cities, We are doing the work to make sure that SPD both has enough officers to meet emergency response and investigative needs, while acknowledging and addressing the disproportionate impact policing has had on communities of color. We must be honest about that if we want to change that. As we approach the end of an undeniably very challenging year, I believe we've turned a corner and can make collaborative, data-driven decisions that advance our shared policy goals. We still have significant challenges ahead. As we've seen in the recent weeks, COVID is not done, and COVID is not done with us. We have so much more work to do to beat COVID, but to also build a healthy and resilient city that can come out of the COVID crisis more just and better and more equitable. We must help our workers, our small businesses, and the families hit hard by COVID, particularly our communities of color that have been so disproportionately impacted, both with the economic impacts and the health impacts. We need to restore our downtown so we are ready when we get out of COVID to welcome back so many tourists, businesses, and workers. We need to continue to center our work on equity and invest deeply in our Black community and other communities of color, including our sacred obligation to support and center the Native communities in this city, a city named for Chief. I look forward to working with the City Council and our communities to chart the next chapters for our great city. With that, I'll sign the budget and then take some questions. Signing the budget. The budget is now signed, the official budget document. Of course, there's dozens of accompanying pieces of legislation that I will not make you watch me sign. And with that, Anthony, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Our first question this morning will come from Chris Daniels, King 5, followed by Erica Barnett, Publicola. Chris, the floor is yours.
Hi, Mayor, and good morning. I guess my first question is in regards to there's multiple pots of money that we're talking about here. What was the exact number that you just signed that is being transferred from the former police department budget to community groups, given that there was this extra jumpstart tax that was involved in all of this as well? What's that exact number that goes from police to community groups?
The budget itself works a little bit more. I can't give you that answer right now because it's a little complicated, but we will transmit what each of the pots are so you can have that in real time, Chris. I'm afraid that this thick budget document doesn't just have a section indicating that, but we will give you the exact amounts.
So the follow-up then to that is, given the amount of attention on the police department in the past and the money that's been given to the police department, there's also been a fair amount of oversight. And so this money that is now being given from the city to community groups, where is the oversight that will also go along with that?
Chris, that's a really great question. So there are three components basically to the largest groups of money. One is the amount of money that we will have the task force advising the mayor and the city council on where they think the investments needs to go. And that money must, as I said at the beginning, has to come back to the city council before it can finally be passed. And then it will be issued according to the normal contracting provisions that the city of Seattle has, which has robust oversight functions. The second pot of money that the council has done and indicated they want to have a greater participatory budgeting process than the task force. We have to work out exactly what that's going to look like, but it too has to come back to the city council for final appropriation. The other monies that go to community, for example, outreach workers and the like, go through the normal channels that we have. They will, for example, the outreach workers and the community safety dollars, those contracts will be let by a competitive bidding process, and there will be metrics in the contracts that we expect for the contractors to provide. We need to have a robust conversation with the community on what that outcomes look like. For example, we're going to be doing even more on the front of trying to reduce violence, particularly in communities of color. What do we expect on those outcomes? What does community expect? We're going to be starting that conversation both with the providers and with the community to make sure that as we embark on this next stage, we as a city together know what outcomes we expect. We will try some things that don't work, but we will find some things that work better than what we're doing now.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next question will come from Erica Barnett, Publicola, followed by Daniel Beekman, Seattle Times. Erica, the floor is yours.
Hi, Mayor. You mentioned the open spaces and parks and neighborhoods suffering, and you said that we have to take steps in the city to change that. Can you talk a little more about your preferred approach to dealing with encampments, particularly, as life hopefully starts to return to normal next year?
Eric, as you're aware, that we reached a compromise agreement with the council with regarding how we address encampments. And for the first time ever, both the city council and the service providers have agreed with our approach, which is we will always lead with engagement. We have done so the entire time I've been mayor. We try to bring people inside. We try to get them additional spaces. We now have an increased ability to do so because we're adding the shelter capacity as well as hotels. So we will have a process that leads with engagement, tries to bring people inside, but the city council and the providers also acknowledge that there will be times when that does not work and an encampment will have to be relocated.
Just a quick follow-up. I mean, when you look around the city, I mean, it's unmistakable that encampments have become dramatically more visible. Will you be adopting any kind of different approach in the coming year, beyond the engagement and beyond the new HOPE team to try to respond to neighborhood concerns, which I know have been pretty vociferous and growing?
So I think each of those concerns is different depending on where the encampment is, whether it's in a park, not a park, whether it's on state lands. We are working closely, for example, with the State Department of Transportation to see if they can significantly increase their obligation to clean the garbage up from the rights of ways around our freeways. If you travel out of the city of Seattle, you will note that our issues are more significant along the freeway than they are in some other places. So we're hoping the state will step up its ability, for example, to clear some of the large refuse and debris that we see in our city sites. We'll be working through the parks departments with neighborhoods and communities to see if we can both do the same type of services, relocate people and bring them inside, and if not, remove the encampments. Because of the CDC guidance, we were and remain constrained in some of the health concerns in terms of needing to leave people in place. But as I said at the beginning of the pandemic, there are times when the public safety or public health needs will require the removal of encampments. And we have to balance the health impacts that those encampments have for the people living in the encampments, as well as the neighborhoods and communities, against the other health impacts related to COVID.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Erica. Our next question will come from Daniel Beekman, Seattle Times, followed by Justin Carter, Capitol Hill, Seattle. Dan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Anthony, and good morning, Mayor. Thanks for your time. I guess I have a quick backward-looking question, and hopefully I can follow up with a forward-looking one. Looking back, you've described sort of the council maybe coming around to your way of thinking with the police budget and the budget in general with the 2021 process. To the extent that that's true, why do you think that was, or what do you think led you and the council to be able to sort of come to an understanding on this latest budget?
I think that the facts are pretty clear, Dan, that at the beginning of the summer, when we had the very beginnings of the protests around the death and murder of George Floyd and the protests around how policing has been conducted nationwide, as well as other issues related to systemic racism, there was great and immediate pressure put by some community groups on the council to defund the police department by 50%. And a majority of the council agreed to that very rapidly. As you will recall, that was a point of disagreement between them and myself and Chief Best. We now see from both the fruits of an outcome of this budget, as well as the deliberation and the very frank comments made by council, that a much more deliberative process has to be done. And that was my position at the beginning. It remained my position throughout the summer. It remained my position when I sent this budget to the council. And I think council was able to take a much more deliberate and thoughtful process this time. And as a result, we have a budget that reflects a strong compromise between the legislative and executive branches.
Okay, thank you for that. And just looking forward, you mentioned that in terms of outcomes on public safety, that would be something that you would have to, hear from community members about and be driven by community members. But do you have any initial thoughts on outcomes? What you think as money moves into from the police department to different areas, what you think some of the outcomes should be that the city is looking at?
I think we have to look holistically, and we have to do that in conjunction with community. We know where we want to get in terms of healthier and more resilient communities that have access to healthcare and affordable housing, to employment, and to educational justice. We also want communities that have a reduction in violence. And as people have seen this year, we have a significant uptick in homicides and other violent crime. It's consistent with what most major cities in America are seeing, but we also made record investments in some of the programs to reduce community violence. So we need to have a conversation about what are those investments we want to make, and what do we expect as a community for those impacts to have. Some of this is new, and we will try things that don't work. But all the things we're doing right now are not working well enough. So we have to be courageous enough to try some new approaches. At the same time, we make sure that we do have enough officers who are trained correctly and follow community and constitutional policing values, but who can respond to 911 at any hour of the day in any part of our city.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Dan. Our final question today will come from Justin Carter, Capitol Hill, Seattle. Justin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, Mayor, last night there's another march on Capitol Hill, and I think lots of people living in the neighborhood are asking if you see any changes that might be coming in how SPD is handling the protests and the direct action activities, or even the opening of the East Precinct and Cal Anderson Park. It feels a bit like things are back to a standoff around 11th and Pine.
So you have seen a relatively small number of people night after night in Cal Anderson Park. And I've been working with and talking to the residents and businesses on Capitol Hill. And we hope to have some new initiatives there to work with the community to do a range of things. First, we have to restore Cal Anderson Park so that it's a vibrant city park. It is in our densest neighborhood. It has a great an important place in the history of Capitol Hill, and we want to have it as an open park that is restored for everybody's use. So we're going to be working with community to see how we can move forward on that. We also know that we want to be able to take down the barricades and fences around both precincts. Based on the chief's analysis earlier this summer, they determined that it was not safe to leave those unprotected, but we also didn't want a line of police protecting those precincts in the way that we saw over the summer, which led to such an escalation of conflict. So we will be working with the neighborhood of Capitol Hill, as well as the South Lake Union neighborhood for West Precinct, but particularly for Capitol Hill. It has suffered a disproportionate impact from the results of a number of the demonstrations and protests. You combine that with the impacts on COVID on those small businesses who've been hanging in there, who had just brought employees back to work and then had to shut down because there was no indoor dining. It's been really hard for those business owners and for those workers and for the residents of Capitol Hill. So we hope to have a joint initiative with the community and the businesses of Capitol Hill to really be able to do that for the community moving forward.
And what's the urgency around those initiatives? Is there any timing, any time frame that you can share?
I think it's, look, if you talk to the people on Capitol Hill, it's urgent. This is where, as you know, it is our densest neighborhood. It has a very high ratio of people who are renters and living in apartment complexes. And there's very little open space. So we want to return Cal Anderson. We want those businesses to be able to take, clean the graffiti, open as best they can. We want people in the neighborhood to feel that they can walk through their neighborhood anytime during the day. And so we will be having an ongoing conversation with the community. I've talked to a number of business owners and community members over the last weeks, and we hope to be doing something in the coming weeks on Capitol Hill. But it's going to have to be with community. We know that we will not be successful if the city just unilaterally comes in and tries to make certain changes. It has to be done with the support of the community and advised by the community input.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Justin. That was our final question. So, Mayor, if you have any closing thoughts, you're welcome to share them now.
I just want to again emphasize that this has been just an unprecedented, challenging year for everybody living in Seattle and every business in Seattle. We were the first to experience COVID-19, and because there was no federal roadmap, we had to create our own. And as we flattened the curve, it happened because people made great sacrifices. Yes, some people started working from home, but so many others didn't have jobs where they could work from home. So they either had to show up as essential workers or they lost their jobs because those businesses were closed. This has had and will continue to have everlasting impacts on those individuals, on the businesses. Parents trying to homeschool their kids, people struggling to find employment. It has been a challenge on every front. And unfortunately, we're going to continue to experience this challenge. COVID-19 has increased significantly in our region. We are seeing increasing numbers to a point where we are probably in a worse position than we were at the beginning of this with regards to the numbers. But we're in a better position because we've already taken some steps to prepare ourselves and we know what works. The amount of testing we've been able to do in the city is phenomenal. And I want to really thank Chief Scoggins and the whole fire department who stepped up, created this program, and it literally is a model for the nation. I also want to thank the City Council for their work throughout this budget process. It has been a difficult and challenging year for everyone. And being able to get through a $6 billion budget that was significantly lower than anyone anticipated because of COVID-19, and to find ways to still make sure that we centered equity, we helped the most vulnerable, and we helped our city prepare itself to come out of COVID-19 better, stronger, and more just. Every city in America, if not every city in the world, will be coming out of COVID-19 at about the same time. And everyone's going to be fighting for the jobs, for the tourists, for the federal dollars. We in Seattle have to get ready. So as we make our way through the rest of this pandemic, we in government have to take the steps we need to do to make sure that we're building that infrastructure so that when we come out of COVID-19, we can do it as healthy as possible. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate it very much.